Hey, my name is Nathan Beatty. I'm doing my humanities engagement for week number 2. I chose option 14 entitled Commemorative, and basically what I'm going to be doing is talking about 3 different sculptures or monuments in the U.S. and the impact they have on our nation now and what they teach us about the past. The first one that I chose, I'll pull up a picture here on my laptop, is the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C., and this is what it looks like. And basically what it is it's a bunch of real-life soldiers, or the sculptures of soldiers from the Korean War, and I actually got to go there, which was really cool. And each one is different and unique in its own way, which makes it more lifelike. And there are soldiers from the war, each doing a different thing in the war. And basically what the monument does is it commemorates those who lost their lives during this war. And it's also an inspiration for us to continue to fight for our country. And it's also a time of remembrance for us to look back and think about when it's a good time for our nation to go to war, and when it's a good time to not go to war. So essentially what the overall picture of what's happening here is that the lost are being commemorated. Some impacts that this monument have on the people that view it are that the people begin to feel grateful for these men who lost their lives, and there's kind of like a solemn feeling, a solemn tone, at least while I was there. They also gain education. They also learn more about this time, and they learn more about what really happened during the Korean War. And they're also sad thinking about all the people that had to lose their lives. But also a feeling of patriotism is also evoked. And I think the thing that most profoundly connects the audience to this event, or to the history behind this event, is the vivid details on each of the soldiers. The fact that each soldier is different shows that these are real men and real men who lost their lives. The second thing I'm going to talk about is the Vietnam Memorial. And let me pull up a picture of it. And this is it right here. The thing that most profoundly sticks out about this one is, well, let me tell you what it is first. Overall, what it is just a giant list of all the men and women who lost their lives in the Vietnam War. And the feelings that are evoked in the audience from this are similar to the Korean War. People begin to feel grateful. They begin to feel the sense of patriotism inside of them, and they also learn a little bit more about the Vietnam War when they go and visit this monument as well. The thing that profoundly connects the audience to the history behind this event is the fact that there's so many names there. When you see these millions of names, you start to just kind of be in like a place of shock and like, wow, I can't believe that many people lost their lives. Like, that's crazy. And that's kind of what happens. That's the thing that people can kind of cling to and walk away like, man, I can't believe that many people died. And that's what makes this such a profound monument. The overall gist of what's happening is that it's commemorating the lost, just like the Korean War Memorial. This memorial is also a time of inspiration and remembrance. Yeah. And then the third and final one that I researched, and I have a picture of it here, is also in DC. I'm doing a DC themed video here, is the Washington Monument. And as you can see, this one's just a giant tall pillar with flags around it, and its primary purpose is to commemorate and honor our first president and commander of the Army, Washington, George Washington. And basically what's happening is it's honoring him, and it creates inspiration in people to continue to lead and choose humility, and kind of humble themselves. And like George Washington was a leader who was people oriented, and so people can look up to him for that, and this monument can kind of pull that out of them. And the feelings that people get when they go and view this is they feel patriotism, they feel patriotic, they feel grateful that we had a leader like that who would sacrifice so much for us. And lastly, I think if there's one feature about the monument that I think most profoundly connects people back to the history behind it is just the sheer size. So when someone walks by, they look up at it and they're like, man, like that's whatever that is meant to convey has to be important because of its sheer size. And lastly, let me show you my works cited page. From basically all I really used was these websites here that talked about it and gave me a picture. And so hopefully you can see it. Yeah, there it is. So, yep,